Is Deputy Prime Minister Julia Gillard. Minister, every bad poll for the Prime Minister means more leadership questions for you. Have you had to discuss this with Kevin Rudd to reassure him that you're not after his job?
Oh, certainly not, Fran. Look, these things get speculated about in the media. I understand that.
Hi, folks. Earlier this evening, Julia Gillard came to see me and has requested a ballot for the leadership of the Labor Party. As a result of that request, I will be writing to the Secretary of the Caucus to convene a special meeting of the caucus at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Tonight, it's time. Australia's first female Prime Minister.
My values and my beliefs have driven me to step forward. I am truly honoured to lead this country, which I love.
An emotional Kevin Rudd bows out after falling on his sword.
The people of Australia, I say thank you.
Have you been given a position in Saturday's match at full forward?
I can disclose I've received a text from Jason Ackermanis inviting me to play that role, but I'm not intending to take that up. There will be no carbon tax under the government I lead.
Prime Minister, on the eve of the last election, you said there'd be no carbon tax. Were you wrong to say that? And what's changed your mind?
The Australian people voted for this parliament, and this parliament gives us an opportunity to price carbon, and we should. It's the right time to do it.
The people didn't vote for a carbon tax, though, did they, at the last election?
Well, I think pricing carbon is the right thing to do, and I said that during the election campaign.
No, you did not.
The Prime Minister concedes she has some explaining to do. She started with this admission.
I promised that there would be no carbon tax. That's true, and I've walked away from that commitment.
The horse trading over which side of politics will ultimately form government has stepped up a notch. The Greens have signed a formal agreement to back Julia Gillard for another term as Prime Minister. The deal doesn't mean the Greens will support all of Labor's legislation, but both parties argue it will ensure more stable government than the coalition.
Signed, sealed and delivered.
Congratulations, thank you.
With a flick of the wrist, the Greens have thrown their weight behind a minority Gillard government.
There is always a little bit of reticence about stepping into the icy waters of political agreement.
The deal includes commitments from the Greens to supply numbers and a refusal to support no confidence motions against a Labor government.
The scientific consensus is stronger than ever. Given these realities, I ask, who would I rather have on my side? Alan Jones, Piers Ackerman and Andrew Bolt, or the CSIRO, the Australian Academy of Science, the Bureau of Meteorology, NASA, the US National Atmospheric Administration and every reputable climate scientist in the world.
etc., is backed, she said, by every reputable climate scientist in the world. That's not true, is it?
Look, it's backed by every major academic institution, by all of the academies, the major academies.
Maybe, but I'm just looking at her actual words. Every reputable climate scientist in the world. That's not true, is it?
I would have to think back and see who there is.
All right, Professor Richard Lindzen of Massachusetts Institute of Technology. You said he's reputable, isn't he?
Here's one who comes to mind. He is reputable, and he has a different view.
Roger Pielke, John Christie, Professor John Christie.
I wouldn't put them in the same category as Lindzen. I think Lindzen
Professor John Christie is Director of the Earth System Science Centre at the University of Alabama in Huntsville. IPCC
I know
person.
him. I do know him, but I wouldn't put him in the same category.
No, but you'd say he's reputable, wouldn't you? You wouldn't say he's disreputable.
Well, as a climate scientist, I'm not.
Tim and Andrew, you only need one.
Well,
that's right.
All right.
You got one.
Professor Svensmark, Fred Singer, Roger Pielke Sr., a professor from Japan, Kimimori Ito. These are reputable scientists. So Julia Gillard's wrong, isn't she, when she says every reputable scientist in the world supports it?
I would say with Linzen as the exception, who's generally regarded as reputable.
And the others are disreputable.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go and tell them.
Their reputation is less than, I'd say.
Well,
okay. Tim,
seems to me we're being sped a bit of flannel by this government, I'm afraid, Tim, and...
The group organising the rally, the Consumers and Taxpayers Association, says it's not a Liberal Party front.
We have had no assistance from the Liberal Party at all. We've sent invitations to both sides of the House to speak at this rally.
On the question of attending the rally outside Parliament House today, I'm not aware that I was invited, Mr Speaker, but as